all my good friends, so glad you could join me today. On today's video, I'm going to show you how you can take those pressed flowers that we did in the previous video and make your own journal pages. You could also make homemade cards with these. Really, the ideas are endless. So I'm going to show you two ways to be able to put the flower in the plastic. So this way I have used just a Ziploc bag. And then I've also done one here that I've used my laminator. And I do really find that I like this idea better. But if you don't have a laminator, no worries. Don't run out and buy one. A Ziploc bag will work just fine, just as well. So with this one, I used an old dictionary page and just sewed around the edges, distressed it, and added some fabric to the top. And on this one, I used just a page out of a plant book, which I really liked. Sewed around, distressed the edges. So this would be great to be able to add to your journal. You could use some washi tape and put it as a flip out. Really, the ideas are endless. So let's get started. Let me set these over to the side. So these are examples of 2 pages that I used, or that I'm going to use, that I kind of like, that I used before. I'm going to go ahead and start out with the dictionary page. So all you're going to do is you are going to fold it in half. Now, my edges are frayed. I do not mind that, but if you don't like it, you certainly can cut it off. So for this, I have circle punches that I use. If you don't have one, I'm going to show you on the other one how you can actually just eyeball it and cut out a square. This is a 1.5 inch. If you use this one, you're going to have a smaller hole. Whereas if you use the 3 inch, you're going to have a bigger hole. These come in all varieties of sizes, so there's no wrong answer. You just use the size that you like. So I'm just going to take my book page, center it the best I can, push it down, and ta-da, we have a perfect circle punched out hole. Be sure to save your papers that you punched out, because you can use these in your journal or in your other cards. All right, so you're left with your circle. Next, if you are going to be using the laminated sheet, all you're going to do is basically just cut you out a piece of your laminated paper, whatever size of the floral that you want to use. So if I'm going to use one about that size, then my scissors. And you also want to make sure you cut it big enough so that it will, you're going to have room in your layout for it. Let me just measure to make sure. I don't want to cut too short and then not have enough room. So that looks about good. Now, if you want to measure, go right ahead. I just like to eyeball everything. Sometimes that works out for me, sometimes not so much. So then you're just going to separate your laminating sheet. Put your flower wherever you want it. Just going to try to get mine centered. And then you're going to take it to your laminating machine and you're going to just put it on through. And just like that, you have your laminated pressed flower. I'm really excited about this. It turned out really cute. All right, now what you want to do is open up your book page. And good, it fits. See, so that's how it's going to look. So for me personally, I like to take some double-sided tape If you don't have double-sided tape, you could use just some Scotch tape just to kind of hold down the sides. I'm just going to put a couple of pieces just because I want to hold it in place. Now I'm going to be taking it to my sewing machine and sewing around. So if you do not have a sewing machine, or you are just going to be gluing it in, you definitely want to make sure that you secure it really well in place. But because I'm going to be using my sewing machine, I can have a little bit of extra wiggle room. And I will go ahead and just take another piece, put it on top, just so it kind of holds everything in place. Now keep in mind, whenever you're doing this, use any color of thread that you would like to. For mine, I've used some light blue thread. If you don't have any color thread, that's totally fine too. Just use white. Anything is going to be great. It's your creation. So let me go take that to my sewing machine and I'll be right back. Okay, back. So as you can see, I used a zigzag stitch. I started at the top. I went all the way around. So next, trim up your thread. Some people do like to leave it a little bit more messy looking. It's really just whatever your preference is. Okay, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Distressed Oxide ink. This is Vintage Photo. This is my favorite one. You can use just like a little makeup sponge. They do make actual tools, I guess you could say, to apply ink, but the makeup sponge works fine. You can pick them up at Dollar Tree, Walmart for super inexpensive, and you get a whole bag and it lasts forever. So I'm just gonna go ink up all the edges. Again, if you do not have this, you do not have to do this step. It is just all completely optional, whatever your taste will be. I'm gonna go ahead and ink up the back as well. I'm not sure where I'm gonna use this, so I would like both sides to look good in case you will be able to see the back side and whatever I use it in. All right, so as easy as that. Now you could stop there and you could be completely done, or you could add a little bit of fabric to the top like I did on this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and use some fabric. I already have some cut. And I do like, if you have pinking shears, you can go around the edges of that. Just kind of adds a little bit of a nice border. Again, you don't have to do that. Totally optional. So again, I just like to eyeball everything. And I'm going to take that to my sewing machine, and will show you the finished product. All right, and ta-da, all finished with such a cute little tab. Now, another idea that you could do at the top could be just some washi tape. Any ideas? It's great. Your ideas are endless. So there you go. You have made a cute little item for your journal. Okay, so moving on. For the next one, we are going to be doing the book page. So I found this book page in one of the books that I have. So you just need to decide basically which side you want to use. And I think I'm going to do this side because I like the difference in all of the flowers. So basically all I'm going to do is take my paper, fold it in half. And there you have the start to it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how, as I did with this one, to make a square. So this is if you do not have a hole punch, you still want to try it out, but you don't have, you know, the particular punches to do it. It's okay, you can still do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold, and I'm not going to crease it because I don't want to leave a crease in my paper. I'm just going to fold it down a bit, and you're going to want to keep in mind that whenever you cut this out, you don't want to go all the way to the edge. You want to just make sure that you try to do a perfect, or as perfect of a little square as you can. As I already said, I don't like to measure or really draw things out, so I will just eyeball it. All right. So there you have. Yes, mine's a little bit more of a rectangle than a square, but that's great. It works. And then make sure to save your pieces left over because you can always use those somewhere else. All right, so for this one, I want to show you that if you don't have a laminating machine, a Ziploc bag will work just perfect. All right, so what you're going to do is, again, I'm just going to eyeball it. Remember that you need to leave enough room around the sides to attach it in whatever way that you're going to attach it, whether it'll be with tape, sewing, whatever it may be. It's better to make it too big than too small so that you make sure that you give yourself enough room. All right. So there's my piece. I feel like it's pretty good. And so now what I'm going to do is, all you have to do is open it up. It makes kind of like a little pocket. And I think I'm going to use this bigger flower that I have dried because this is a longer size of pocket. So keep that in mind whenever you're cutting out your square, rectangle, whatever it is that you're cutting out for the size of hole that you're going to be making. So that's about where I'm going to do mine. So now, since I'm not putting this through the laminating machine, I'm going to go ahead and take a small piece of double-sided tape, and I am going to put that, you can either put it on the back of the flower or on your plastic. Sorry, it's hard for me to talk and do two things at one time. Does anybody else have that problem? All right, okay, so now you have it. Now you're just gonna open up your page and you're gonna see how it fits. All right, it looks like it fits pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna do basically the same process as I did earlier. And take my double-sided tape. I'm going to put tape on the sides. And I am going to be sewing this one as well. And again, that step is totally optional. All right, so before you place it down, make sure you have it in the spot you want. All right, looks about good. And since I'm not putting this through the laminating machine, I'm gonna go ahead and put a piece of tape on the inside as well. I feel like the more secure you have it, the better that it is. All right, so there you go. So now with this one, since it's a bigger, as you can see on this, I'm gonna go ahead and take my sewing machine and I'm going to sew around the plastic part because you don't want your flower moving. If you just sew around the edges in time, your plastic might move and it might fall down. So you don't want that to happen. So right now I'm going to take it back to my sewing machine. I'm going to just do a straight stitch all the way around, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a zigzag stitch around all of the borders. So I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back and I have sewn all around the middle, and I've sewn a zigzag stitch all around the side. If you don't have a sewing machine that does a zigzag stitch, that's completely fine. Just do a straight stitch, no big deal. Remember, there are no mistakes, there's no accidents. You just create it however you want to create it. Again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up the edges. Inks, stamp pads come in so many different colors. You can use your imagination. You can use whatever color you like. This is just what I have, so this is what I'm going to use. But maybe you have some different colors. Try them out. A pink, a green. Any of those will work. There is no wrong way to do it. And again, I'm going to go ahead and ink up the back as well. And I was thinking, you know, maybe you're not a big journaler. What about doing an idea like this for a friend? Right now, the times that we're living in are so hard with COVID. People are really struggling, having a hard time. Try to think of something happy to do for somebody that you could just actually mail to them. Think about how happy you are if you get something in the mail from a special friend, something that you're completely just not thinking about or expecting. So you could take a book page like this. You could actually just even write a little note right on the page. You could add a piece of blank index card, put it on there. Really, the possibilities are endless. So the possibilities really are endless with this project. Today we've made 2 completely different looks, but there are so many ideas and things that you can do with this. Get creative, make yourself happy. Don't feel like you have to have a lot of products to be able to do these things. If you're worried about flowers, go out in the yard, find some just dandelions, dry them. Check out my video, the one prior to this, of how to dry flowers in less than a minute and create your own fun. Really, in these times that we're living, we need to try to enjoy things that the most that we can, make the most use out of our time and make ourselves happy. Think of others. Think of how you can make others happy as well. So thanks so much, guys, for following along with me today. I look forward to seeing you to the next time. Bye.